Hi! Today I will be comparing two different nail polish brands. The same color pretty much. There's not too much difference between the colors, but there's a huge difference in the application and the opacity of the polishes. So I thought I could do a little demo today, demonstrating, I guess, the application of both of these. Essie Tour de Finance and Sally Hansen Insta Dry in Fast Fuchsia. So there's a considerable price difference between these two. This one I believe is around $3.50 and this one's around $7.75, something like that. So this one's more expensive and this one's less expensive. This is a brand that is typically seen as maybe a higher quality than the Sally Hansen, which it really depends on your preference. I mean, people who have a large nail polish collection typically know that some colors in some brands aren't as good as some colors in other brands. So you can't really go by that. But there was such a huge difference between these two and the way they applied, I thought I would go ahead and show you guys. So sorry that the camera is going to be a little bit shaky, and I've got this white piece of paper and there's writing on the background. So just ignore that. I've got the two nail polishes here side by side. This one is Fast Fuchsia and this one is Tour de Finance. I just wanted to show a comparison in the bottles before I go ahead and do it on a nail wheel. This one is a cream. It's a hot pink. It's kind of a blue-based hot pink. It's straight up a cream. There's no shimmer in it whatsoever. And Essie's Tour de Finance, as you can see, has a noticeable shimmer. It's not a duochrome, but it's just a shimmer, a magenta, violet, bluey sort of hued shimmer. So that's a difference between the two formulas in general to start with. So they shouldn't look exactly the same on a nail wheel, just because there is that simple difference. So let's go ahead and do the swatch. Okay, so I'm going to try to do this. I'm actually holding my camera and trying to do the swatches with my other hand, so we're going to see how this goes. Just bear with me whenever I'm doing this. So we're going to start with a swatch of Tour de Finance. I'm going to first kind of show you how sheer it applies on the first coat. I am making a huge mess because this is something I should use a tripod for, but okay. So that's the first coat. And then we're going to come over to Fast Fuchsia. And I'm going to take some of that off because this brush is way big. And we're going to paint on a coat right here. And as you can see, it's like a really thick, creamy formula that really applies well and pretty much evenly and totally opaque in one coat. So let's look at it up close. This is one coat of each, and as you can see, the Tour de Finance is still pretty sheer with one coat. I would definitely want to use two coats, and I do usually use two coats whenever I use this nail polish, but with the Fast Fuchsia, one coat is all it took, and it's totally opaque. And in fact, if you put two coats on, I think it would be a little thick and goopy, just because the formula is a little thicker. So I'm going to put a second coat of Tour de Finance on, and we'll see how that looks at that point. And the brush is just totally different than the Sally Hansen one too. This is a really typical skinny brush head, so it's going to apply a little bit slower because the Sally Hansen one is pretty wide. I'm going to go back for some more because I don't think this brush really gets enough polish on at first. Okay, I think I've got it pretty opaque now. So this is in two coats. Tour de Finance right here and Fast Fuchsia right here. They're pretty similar. On camera, they actually look a lot more different than they do in person, so that was pretty interesting for me to see. But You can see that the Tour de Finance, you can't really see the shimmer quite as much as you could in the bottle, so that's something to keep in mind. And just the formula itself, I just wanted to demonstrate how opaque the Sally Hansen Insta Dry is in one coat versus the Essie where I had to use 2 coats. And even now you can kind of see, well, I don't know on camera, but in person you can kind of see how the polish is kind of dripping towards the edges of the nail. And that's kind of what I think is going on here. So that's something to keep in mind too. The Sally Hansen one's not doing that at all. So that is my comparison between the 2 polishes. I don't have the lids on yet. I hope that you can get a good idea and maybe not be so biased against cheaper nail polish brands, because obviously the way they apply and look after one coat can totally surprise you. I mean, I do have some Essie polishes that are totally opaque in one coat. I don't have any Insta Dry polishes that take more than one coat actually. And I've got some dark ones, I've got some light ones, and they all take one coat and they look great after one coat. The Essie ones, not so much. So I hope you enjoyed watching this. I hope it was a little interesting and not so canned based on the rest of YouTube. Let me know what you think about this video in the comments section, and if you want to see more like this, I have a few nail polishes that are dupes of each other, I guess, different brands. I can do this for all of those polishes if you're interested, and if you are, just let me know down below, and I hope you're having a great evening, and I'll talk to you later.